Muted. Hi, everyone. Welcome. So today's live is a little bit different. Most people wait for the right moment, but the ones who act now, right now, even when they were muted, like I was a second ago, they change everything. I also noticed that my orientation is not vertical, but rather horizontal. So I'm a little bit closer than I anticipate. I'll try and fix that as we're going along, but I don't want to get too far from my mic. I got a new mic. Let me know how it sounds. I appreciate that. And we are live on LinkedIn, Instagram. YouTube is the one in question today. So if you see me on YouTube, drop a note, say hi, and let me know if you can hear me. It's a sound check. So starting now. Make a little note. Excellent. Starting now. Great. Welcome, and let's get started. So doing a few little crazy things, but here we go. That was a rough start, but let's jump in. This live is part inspiration, part celebration, and part invitation. I am a US American, and yesterday was Thanksgiving, so my heart's full of gratitude. We're kicking off the holiday season, whichever holiday you celebrate, or if you're like me and want to grab all the holidays, this is the holiday season, and so I want to kick that off together with you here. And as a part of that, I'm going to give you two gifts today, actually, because I can't wait to start giving two gifts. One is a Black Friday special. That's a one-on-one session with me, deeply discounted, like 60% off. More details later. And also that could be with and the Vocal Authority Formula. 23 micro techniques that actually transform how people see and listen to you. So that's pretty exciting. Having a bit of a technical glitch on LinkedIn, getting some feedback about that. So yeah, do send me a message if you can see and hear me. Let me know you're here. I really appreciate that from you. This is a live session, and so that matters. So today's topic is really all about those moments in our lives when we say yes before we're ready and why we should or shouldn't. It's, thinking about those one conversation, one decision, one yes, one moment of courage that can change the entire direction of your career, of your confidence, of your life. And that's what we're talking about today. Think about your own life. I think about my own life, big career moves, relationships, health. It's like everything can be boiled down to that one moment, a choice, one conversation. If you could think of one right now, go ahead and drop that in the comments and let me know. I'd love to hear that from you. I'm going to go back and double check with LinkedIn. Yeah, really struggling there. Not sure what's happening. Anyone who's live can give me a holler and let me know if you can see me and hear me. Looks like we're good again. I just got confirmation. Thank you for that. All right. When I think about my own life, those conversations, those big decisions I've made, one was studying in China. It really boiled down. I can even remember the exact location and person I was talking to. And applying for a scholarship, which changed my life, and I got my MBA, made that possible. Marrying my husband. Okay, that's one we can often think about, a specific moment when that decision was made. Starting my business. These conversations, these yeses are important. But who is today's conversation for? This conversation is for professionals who spent this year being almost ready, but never quite stepping forward, because we're talking about stepping forward and having those courageous conversations today, saying those yeses before we feel ready. This is for leaders who want their voice to land with weight, not just volume. This is for anyone who keeps thinking, once I'm more confident, once I have better equipment, once I get this one more training, whatever it is, then I'll show up. This is for anyone hiding behind the algorithm or another degree, another workshop. Oh, I just saw that thumbs up. Thank you very much. If you're here live, drop a message so I can see your name say hi and welcome you personally. But thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. So, this is for anyone hiding behind excuses instead of stepping forward with their real voice, their real message, their story, their passion. And this is for people who feel something rising in them, but the fear is still louder. We're going to talk about that today. And this is important because the right opportunity won't find you if you're silent. Sure, silence keeps you safe, it keeps you comfortable, but small. Visibility creates momentum, and it's not visibility only on LinkedIn or only on social media, but also in your workplace, in your community, in your industry. It creates momentum that self-doubt can't stop, right? There's always that balance there between our inner critic trying to keep us safe and playing small and our desire for more, right? It's that struggle. The thing that's important to realize is you don't get clarity first. You don't get confidence first. It's important to show up first because that confidence builds momentum, and that's how we go forward. So today, you don't need to be ready, but you need to be willing. So if you're willing to listen, lean in, let's dive into this. I'm going to give you some mindset shifts, some transformational stories, some action steps you can take so that you can start now making 2026 your year, because it's never too early to start. And if you're here and live, go ahead and drop those emojis, say hi, let me know where you're listening from. I'm so glad to have an audience, a live audience, so I can take your questions, interact with you, and make this a valuable experience and worth your time. So let's dive into our first key point today, and that is what happens when you say yes before you feel ready. So saying yes before you feel ready, it seems like counterintuitive, like a bad idea, but it's not. It's not. It's actually the spark that moves you forward faster than anything else. Confidence is a lagging indicator. It's always 2 steps behind where you really are. So confidence is a lagging indicator. Don't let that be your decision maker. Don't let that be your choice determiner. Your brain is actually trying to delay risk by saying, I'm not ready yet. Right? It's trying to delay risk. It's trying to keep you safe. But saying yes creates momentum and the force that changes careers. It changes lives. It changes, well, everything. So people you admire, when you think of great speakers, famous speakers, people you admire, they had to start in uncertainty. You can't feel confident about something you haven't done yet. I mean, maybe you can feel confident, but what's it based on? So they're not experienced. They may have confidence, but not experience. So they also started in uncertainty. And everyone has an inner critic. You're not the only one, I promise. And it never really goes away. It's just a matter of deciding who gets to drive the car, who gets behind the steering wheel of your life. That's the difference. It's not that I don't hear voices. It's not that I don't hear the questioning and self-criticism. I sure do. But I'm not letting that be the driver of my life or the deciding factor. When you think about a moment when you signed up for something scary, because we've all done it. We've all said yes before we had the experience and the confidence and everything we need to know for sure, beyond the shadow of a doubt, we're going to do it. For example, a gym membership. I just signed up for my first gym membership recently. And I was like, am I really going to use it? Or is this going to be another waste of money because I don't go? But I've been going. Yes. The job you applied for, even though you felt maybe a size too small, that feeling, the relationship you said yes to, even though it wasn't the perfect timing or the right space, that flutter in your stomach isn't fear. It's expansion. It's you growing. That's what we're talking about today. So earlier today, I want to highlight a big win from one of my clients, Daniel. He was a keynote speaker at the biggest HR event of the year in Vienna, so in Austria. And it was in Vienna in the Hofburg. Very fancy. And when he told me the truth, when we met, the truth is he said yes to the keynote before he felt ready, before he was convinced that was the right topic, before he was convinced it would land. But it didn't matter. He committed to the process. He invested in the process, and this choice totally changed the trajectory for him. And if you remember nothing else today, let me make this crystal clear. Momentum is way more important and outscales readiness always. Momentum is greater than readiness always. So I'm checking the chats here. It looks like there's some stickiness on my chats. But if you're dropping a chat, like I'm here for it, say hi, let me know you're here. That's what live is about. It's about being interactive and getting to know each other, answering your questions live. Oh, I can put the chat right there. Excellent. Then I don't have to look over there as much. That would be great. So speaking about momentum versus readiness, I want to highlight a few more stories of transformation because that's so inspiring. It's so exciting, especially this time of year. I want to highlight Michelle. Michelle and I have been working together for over a year now, and it's just been fantastic to watch her entire process. She has always been like very brilliant and strong with in-person events. She's magnetic. She controls, when she meets with people in small rooms or in big rooms, it's face to face. But online, she avoided it. Making that shift was a hard decision. She thought it wasn't her style. It didn't feel right. It felt fake. And where's the energy from the people? We worked together on her presence, her stories, and micro techniques, and she committed. It's been awesome to watch her grow and develop over the past year. Now she has a loyal audience who show up every single episode, every show. She's growing a community, and she's attracting opportunities without a lot of cold outreach. It's brilliant, and her voice is her engine, and the momentum unstoppable. We're already looking at plans for growth in 2026. So much exciting stuff. I want to talk about a different area. So not so much live webinars, but taking it personal off the digital space. I want to talk about another client of mine who had a big win this fall, Doro. She is an exceptional pharma expert. I know her personally, and we've gotten to know each other over the years, and it's fantastic. And she found her dream job. She found her dream job this past spring and panicked. Her inner critic was loud and clear, questioning everything. She wanted the job. She wanted to make the shift, but how? Especially in a job interview, a lot of people feel uncomfortable bragging about themselves or boasting about themselves. She said, there were identity fears in there. I don't talk like that. I don't want to seem full of myself or boastful. Or who do you think you are going for this? So we worked together for a few sessions and we applied a few key frameworks. Result: not only did she land the job she wanted, her dream job, but she negotiated the hours, she negotiated the responsibilities, remote flexibility, and she shaped her role into something that supports her life, not the other way around. So awesome, big wins with her starting that this fall. And your life shifts. This I can guarantee you. Your life will shift the moment you stop hiding, the moment you stop staying silent or waiting or holding back. So I shared already 3 stories from this past month. We talked about Daniel, we talked about Michelle, and we talked about Doro, from people who showed up, who said yes before they felt ready. before they felt ready. And that's key. But it's not just the big wins. I mean, I talked about really big wins because that's exciting to hear these stories. It's exciting to tell these stories, but it's not just the big wins that matter. I have another client that sent me a message this past week, and I want to read the quote here to make sure I get it right. I stopped trying to be perfect. And that's when people leaned in. Now, here, I know she's talking about in meetings. She had a hard time speaking up in groups of people, especially larger groups of people. But perfection, what she thought was important, actually repels. Presence, leadership presence attracts. It's the most magnetic thing you can find. So now I'm going to check the chats again, see who's here, see who's live. LinkedIn is giving me a lot of trouble today. LinkedIn, you're not playing nicely. If you're sending me a message on LinkedIn, I will check you afterwards. I'm really sorry about this delay. That is uncomfortable. I saw some thumbs up earlier, so I appreciate the emojis. So they're coming through. I don't know what's happening. But we're going to just keep going. Keep our momentum up today. It is 17 after the hour, and we are on the third point. So I want to wrap this up before the half hour. I want to talk about a mindset shift. So I already gave the example from a client, the message I got earlier this week, a mindset shift that she shifted from perfection, moving away from perfection to presence. Now I'm going to talk about a mindset shift that really changed everything, especially for me. I was thinking, what if I fail? What if it doesn't work? What if no one shows up? Right? To what if it works? That's it. What if it works? Most people plan for disaster, but few people actually plan for success. Everyone kind of assumes that it'll just all fall together. But what if you focus your energy? What if you focus your presence thinking positively, planning for success, right? It's because momentum beats talent. Momentum beats, well, everything, doesn't it? Just moving in the right direction, one step at a time. I often think of the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. Fantastic book. If you haven't read it, it's about those incremental, mini small steps that keep us facing and looking in the right direction. Over time, absolutely unbeatable. But the best speakers, if you really dig into the story and look into their background, they're not the most gifted. They weren't the most talented. They're the ones who show up, even when the views are low, even when the lighting's bad, even when the day is heavy. It's the people who keep showing up. The people who keep showing up. In fact, I often think of a story, famous comic book writer, my friend's brother. He told me, he wasn't the best in art school. He did go to art school. He did have his training. He did practice and drawing all the time, but he wasn't the best. What made him a famous comic book artist is he stuck to it. He didn't give up. Everyone else just kept dropping off, changing plans, going into other careers, having other priorities, but he stuck to it. And that made all the difference. So I want to talk about my story. So I highlighted 3 wins from others. I want to talk about my story. I almost canceled. I was so close to canceling my second live ever. Similar to Michelle, I was comfortable in a small room, in a small group setting, even large groups. I was used to face-to-face interaction. I was used to working with people. Shifting online was a big step for me, but I decided, let's do this. Let's jump in. The first one was great. It was exciting. People showed up. I was energized. Adrenaline was pumping, all that jazz. But what about the second one? The second one's different. The second one's often different, or the third, fourth. Once the initial honeymoon excitement's over, it's about showing up. And that's what I want to highlight. I almost canceled. I was running late. The lighting was terrible. I was doing it while away. I had a last minute trip. I was actually sitting on a bed in a hotel room, which totally felt wrong, unprofessional. Wasn't the look I was going for. Like, Yeah. Okay, let's just say it was embarrassing. But the truth is, I showed up anyway. I showed up anyway. It was messy, it was imperfect, it was but it brought connections. It brought collaborations. I even got a client and conversations that not only shaped that day, but this entire chapter of my business. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for that. It wasn't polished, absolutely not, but it was brave. I had to have that moment of courage, that decision of, yes, I'm going to do it. And bravery always wins. Bravery always wins. And your future depends on the choices you make, especially on those days when you don't feel ready. So a little bit of math for this November afternoon. Actually, it's an afternoon for me. Maybe it's a morning for you, evening if you're listening from Asia or on the replay. Action. So we're doing a little bit of math. Should I come this way? This way? This way? We'll start from the top. How's that? Action creates confidence and not the other way around. You don't need another plan. You don't need another pep talk. Actually, what you need is your next yes. The yes from you. You saying yes to yourself. Now, I'm wondering, as I'm looking at the people who are here live and listening on the replay, what's one bold step you're ready to take before the end of this year, before the end of 2025? If you have it in a word, you can go ahead and drop it in a word, or give a short story. I'd love to hear it. Still checking on those comments. I'm not sure what is going on with LinkedIn. Details, we'll have to check that afterwards, but go ahead and drop that in. Now, looking at the time, we have about 7 minutes left before the end of this session. And this is when it's like gift giving time. Gift giving time. I want to be generous. All right, singing's not my strong suit, but this is your moment. This is your moment to say yes. I have a free resource. I'm going to give you, let me just share my screen and show you all this good stuff. Come over here. Oh, well, that's has to be a little bit better. Not better. Not getting a lot of love today. I'm not sure what's happening. It's the orientation. I'm not allowed to switch the orientation while live, unfortunately. But here it is. Here's the landing page. Stop being the smartest person that no one remembers. What you get inside are 23 proven vocal techniques that make that what? It's covering everything except all, yeah. That make professionals unforgettable. So this is for professionals, consultants, and founders who present complex ideas. So if you're talking about big stuff, if your message matters, this is for you. And it's free. And there's the voice system inside. There's a video. You can say hi to me and then get the the vocal authority formula. But what you're really thinking right now is, that's awesome, Elizabeth. I don't need to see the landing page. I want to see what's inside. So let me show you what's inside. Here's the table of contents. You can see there really are 23 techniques, and it's broken down into 5 different sections. And there's inside, I also packed in the 5 credibility killers, the things that just undermine you before you even start speaking, before you get to your message. In those first 3 seconds, those first 30 seconds that just cut you under before you have a chance to start. So if you see yourself in any of these, if you have any of these, and most of us do without even realizing it, this is going to help you clean that up right away. So then there's the voice system, where it's kind of cheeky, kind of cheesy, but I love it. It's VOICE. It's the 5 different sections. There's volume and variation, kind of verbal highlighters, orchestration of pace. Okay, that one's a bit of a stretch. I get it, but give me grace here. Intentional pauses, contrast and emphasis, emotion and energy. So we cover all of that. And here's one. Part 1, diving straight away into the volume and variation to flex your voice. Technique number 1 is the power whisper. And here you can see there are 5 sections. What it is, when to use it, an example in action, why it works, the psychology behind why this actually works. So this isn't just like hokey pokey stuff I pulled off of Chat GPT. Like this stuff actually works. And there's a little try it now exercise so that you can apply it right away. Because what's the use if you can't use it? Like, what's the point? So I want to give this all to you. And so what you need to do, wait a minute, Elizabeth, you didn't give the link yet. Wow, that was foolish. Let's give the link right away. But again, the links, as we said before, are not the links, but the chats seem to be all in a kuddelmuddle today, like all in a mess. So if you don't get that link, just send me a message, just send me a DM, be like, I want the vocal authority formula, and I'll send it to you right away. The second thing I want to talk about is the Black Friday offer. Black Friday, because today is actually Black Friday. I'm not talking about Black weeks, Black months, today's the day. And as a US American, Black Friday is crazy. But Black Friday offer, I'm giving a one-to-one session with me, Speak for Impact, Speaking for Impact. And you have to buy it. You have to commit before December 1st to get this deal. It's over 62% off. Here's the link. I should write in it. Well, it says at the end, Black Friday. There's all the information you need to know once you click on that link. There are a few spots left. And this is the work that changes your presence, your clarity, your confidence. So if you want the kind of transformational stories we talked about earlier, say yes to this. Check it out. It's my gift to you. Speaking of gifts, we are ending exactly on time, maybe 30 seconds earlier. But remember, this is your moment to speak up. This is your moment to lead, because now is always the right time to choose. This is your time to choose comfort. Sorry, I'm getting confused. I'm getting excited looking at everything. This is your time to choose courage over comfort. And one conversation really can change everything. So let this conversation be yours. Thanks, and have a great